All right. I know I'm a little late to the party. Please forgive me. Everybody else has reviewed the new Giorgio Armani fragrance. This one is called Profondo Lights. It is a flanker of Acqua Di Gio. And so I'm going to be giving you my thoughts in this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin my fragrance review of Acqua Di Gio Profondo Lights by Giorgio Armani, the brand new fragrance for 2021, a flanker of a flanker, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, if you like fragrance reviews here on YouTube, but also top 10 videos and a lot more, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. And if you can enable notifications by clicking on the bell and give this video a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, it would really mean a lot to me. And so, of course, the original Acqua Di Gio came out in the mid-90s. The perfumer for that, as well as I think all of the flankers, is Alberto Morillas, who is a Firmenich perfumer. Very successful perfumer with a lot of fragrances under his belt. And then here we have the brand new fragrance, which is called Profondo Lights. Now, the thing that was unique about Profondo is the fact that it contains this mastic oil note. So mastic oil or lentisque, it actually has a couple different names. And I spent a few years living in Greece, and so I know what mastic smells like. I've used it in a lot of desserts, or I've experienced it in a lot of desserts, I should say, chewing gum, so on and so forth. There are a myriad of uses for it, and that's what made Profondo unique. Now with Profondo Lights, they actually added a lot of green elements. So you got the fir balsam, you got the cypress, the patchouli, the vetiver. I think rosemary is in this as well, and cardamom in the opening too. So they really added a significantly green twist to the formula. So I'm excited to tell you what I get from the smell, if I would compare it to any other flanker from Acqua Di Gio, or if I just generally think that it's a scent that you should pick up, if I think it's going to suit you really well for the summertime. I'm excited to get into all of that, but let's start things off with the presentation. So right in the opening of this fragrance, you will be reminded of Acqua Di Gio. And I think it's the inclusion of the patchouli in here that kind of reminds me of Profumo a little bit, but kind of like a brighter and fresher version, a lighter version of Profumo. Now, I know that the patchouli in Profumo might be a little bit too much for some people, and so a lot of those people just naturally gravitate to either the original from the mid-90s or Profondo, and now we have Profondo Lights to really diversify things and vary things up. So with Profondo Lights, you are going to get that significantly green vibe from the fragrance, and that is attributed to the inclusion of the fir balsam and the cypress, the cardamom, the patchouli, the vetiver, so on and so forth. And there are some woodsy tendencies in the base as well. There's something about this fragrance that, at least in the opening, maybe for the first 15 or 20 minutes, it smelled a little powdery. And I'm thinking that that's probably coming from the cardamom, because whenever I smell cardamom in fragrances, kind of like La Nuit de l'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent, it does come across smelling a little bit powdery, and then it kind of settles down. And what you're going to get after those 15 minutes or 10 minutes or something like that is like a lighter, fresher version of Profumo, but it also reminds you of Profondo as well. And this is what a flanker should be like, right? A fragrance that is not 95% like the original, but is also not 95% different from the original. You want something that strikes a nice balance, and I think that the perfumer Alberto Morillas did a really good job with this one in terms of making it smell different enough from the other flankers, and different enough to warrant a purchase at that, but also very pleasant, very accommodating, and a very accessible formula as well. And so one of the things that the original Acqua Di Gio is known for is being this incredibly versatile fragrance, very bright, aquatic, refreshing, easily pulling compliments. And Profondo Lights, I think, also has all of those attributes. Very fresh, very appealing, uplifting, a compliment magnet. And I think that a lot of people will naturally gravitate towards this one just because of its accessibility and just because of how fresh it comes across. Now, I actually think it's a nice blend of Profondo, Profumo, and then you add a little bit of like a balsamic character to the fragrance with some touches of wood in the base as well. That's what I'm getting from Profondo lights. And when you think of lights, you think of something very bright and illuminating, right? Something luminous. And I'm not getting that per se. I'm actually getting more of like an earthier texture from it. But in any case, I think that this one is a solid flanker. It's a solid addition to the Acqua Di Gio lineup. And I think that if you are a fan of either Profondo or Profumo, maybe you're running low on one of your bottles of those fragrances, I would definitely pick this one up as an alternative to those, especially if you're looking for something that maybe gives off a vibe that's a little bit more formal than casual. And so I think that's another thing about the original Acqua Di Gio is just super casual. And so with Profondo lights, you're going with something that's a little bit more on the formal side of things, as well as not having any sweetness that would make it like this date night or romantic sort of a fragrance, but something that keeps that elegant sophistication of the fragrance without it coming across playful or juvenile in any way. So solid addition to the lineup. If you've had a chance to try it, take the opportunity right now. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know if you like it, if you are a fan of the brand new flanker, and what other fragrance in the Acqua Di Gio lineup you think this one could compare to. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I think it's fairly unique, but it is going to remind you a lot of Acqua Di Gio Profumo as well as Profondo, kind of like a slightly darker version, retaining the patchouli from Profumo, or I should say using the same type of patchouli, but also adding like a green earthy texture with the fir balsam, the cypress, the rosemary. A lot of unique things happening in this, but it is a true flanker because you will be reminded of that Acqua Di Gio DNA when you smell it, and it definitely triggered a lot of memories for me when I first smelled this fragrance about a month ago, even though, you know, I had never smelled it before, but it definitely reminded me of that ADG DNA. So the overall smell, very pleasant. Longevity on this fragrance, it'll give you a solid 7 hours on your skin. The projection is great for the first hour and a half of application. However, it doesn't start to sit closer to the skin until about that 6-hour mark. So it will get you through the workday. And I think that that's going to be sufficient for a lot of people. In terms of the versatility on this one, incredibly versatile. I think that because of the green and woodsy nuances, you can wear this one in the colder weather. But because of that citrus explosion and the aquatic tendencies, you're definitely gonna have a lot of fun wearing this in the hotter weather as well. I do think it leans a little bit more masculine, but if you're a confident woman who likes the way that it smells, by all means, wear what you love, wear what makes you happy. And like I said before, you can wear this one casually, but I think because of those added green notes, it adds a touch of sophistication, so you can wear this one formally as well. In terms of the presentation, I like the gradient, and you know, obviously there's a little bit of like a color pattern to the box here, especially in the typeface and the font. It goes a little bit teal and then green and then kiwi almost, so it's really cool. My final verdict of this fragrance is, again, if you are a fan of the Acqua Di Gio lineup by Giorgio Armani and you're a fan of collecting the flankers, and especially if you like Profumo, and you want to sort of imagine what that would be like if you added the freshness of Profondo with a little bit of a green touch, definitely check this one out. I think it'll be to your liking. I know that was kind of a long description in trying to get you to imagine what this fragrance would smell like, but of course, if you can smell this in like a Macy's or any other department store that carries it, please go ahead and do so. Fragrance is subjective, and so your opinion might be different from mine, but that's what makes the world go round, and I think that's what makes this such a beautiful hobby. And so thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you took something of value from this review of Acqua Di Gio Profondo Lights by Giorgio Armani. If you did and you're not subscribed to this channel, one small ask, if you could just support this channel by subscribing to it, it would really mean a lot to me. And if you can give this video a thumbs up, that would mean a lot to me as well. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you all soon.